All right, so here we are. We're at the grand finals of the Starcraft 2, the Smoke Gamer, whatever you want to call it, interstaff tournament. Wow. It seems like it has taken a long time to get here, Riorus.
Oh, it has. It's been
Yeah.
a couple of months now, I think.
Indeed it has. So, let's take a look real quick at some of the statistics of this match we have coming up. MPD versus Teeironor here. Of course, MPD is the show host for But Wait, There's Lore, as well as a couple of other shows and other tidbits that we do at the Smoking Game. But Teeironor is the forum and like social media manager, so it's quite a strange concoction here. We have a show host versus a manager, but what can you do? Taking a look at the stats, MPD went 10-3 in the group stages. He only lost to Snapplemonkey and Riorus, and actually he lost to you. Only one game though. Teeironor went 8-5 in the group stage. Was actually in 4th place whenever the final or the semifinals happened. So he was actually projected to lose, but somehow managed to get himself to the finals of this particular tournament. He went 8-5 in the group stage, lost to me one game. His the first game of the tournament, actually, he lost to me. Then came back and stopped me 2-0 after that. He also lost to Snapplemonkey, and I do believe he lost to Dunn as well. But he did take a game versus Dunn, so we should have
to me as well.
a hell of a match. Did he lose to you?
Pretty sure he did.
He may have. But I believe he lost to, I think it was Snapple and me and Dunn, but it may have been me, Dunn, and Riorus. I don't know. It's not super relevant at this point. No. The point is that this should be an amazing matchup between Teeironor and Dunn. Dunn, of course, being a Protoss player, and Teeironor being a Terran player. Of course, in this tournament, there's no rules. You don't have to play any particular race. For every single game, you can pick and choose if you want to, whatever you want to do. This is not like a super hardcore tournament of any kind. There's no prize on the line, just bragging rights. But looking at two things that we can expect from MPD and Teeironor. From Dunn, we can expect a Dunn base. This is something that Dunn kind of coined himself. It's just basically odd expansions. Very strange second bases that he takes. Sometimes he'll go way across the map just to try and basically get to the one spot where he doesn't think he'll get scouted very quickly.
The exact definition of the Dunn base is to set up a base in the wrong part of the map, somewhere not expected, and then to change your build there. Have your transition out of the way and make sure that your opponent doesn't know what you're doing. Although we've kind of used it just as any base that isn't a natural expansion.
And then, of course, from Teeironor, the fast Thors. He loves his Thors. I don't know what it is about the Thors, but of course, if Dunn over here playing the Protoss wants to mass up some air, Teeironor's definitely got the answer, and he's really good with those Thors. So it's going to be interesting to see what comes out from that. We'll see. I do believe the game number 1 is up and ready to go. Let's go ahead and ask the players if they are ready, and if they are, let's get this thing started. Let's get match 1 ready to go. All right, the countdown has begun, starting in 3, 2, 1. Loading screens are up. Riorus, what's your opinion? What's your thought? Who do you think is going to take game 1 coming out of the gate here?
Well, from experience, I would say that Dunn does have the edge, having played against more people, actual humans. Teeironor tends to play against AI rather than the actual people on ladder. So Dunn has more experience that way, although Teeironor has been practicing a lot, and that could really tip over the favourite in his way. We'll have to see in the game, though.
Indeed we will, and we shall here very soon. Loading is commencing. We are playing on Neoplanet S. I believe this was a map that... never mind. We're not going to get into that bit. However, I will say that this map is interesting in the sense that the gold bases, or the gold elements, or minerals rather, are right there in the center, and you pretty much can't miss them. Well, it's actually very easy to miss them, even though they are right there in the middle of that ground. The reason is the way the ramps work and the way the paths work to get to each other's bases. So definitely a good idea to go ahead and scout that out every once in a while, because getting a good 5 to 10 minutes on a fully saturated gold mineral line is absolutely amazing, especially when it's not contested.
Very true, that gold mineral can turn everything.
Indeed.
Now,
so we have... Go ahead.
Now, going into the game, we have the orange Protoss in the bottom left-hand position as MPD, also known as Dunn, and his opponent, the red Terran, Teeironor, in the top right side of Neoplanet S. And kind of standard openings. I say standard. Forge Fast Expand, possibly for Dunn, and the typical wall off Terran.
Indeed. Now, on this particular map, what I like to do is I actually like to wall off a little bit closer. It does take a little bit longer, but when you're playing against a Protoss, I think you're doing pretty well. You don't have to worry so much as you would, say, versus a Zerg player for that super fast harassment. And I think versus a Protoss, it's pretty easy to get that in and done. We'll definitely have to see, though. We do have some cheese coming out from Dunn over here, taking that putting that assimilator down on the Vespene gas. That is, I like it, but at the same time, I don't. What's your thought on that?
It's just kind of a bit annoying. I mean, Teeironor was already able to get up one of his refineries. Dunn did try and take that second one, but was thwarted. This is just going to be a bit of a thorn in the side. Teeironor will get out Marauders first, going on his previous build, so it will go down relatively quickly, but it will delay his gas income. So this might mean no fast force.
It is certainly a possibility. Dunn definitely trying to make those Thors come out as late as possible. We did have a little small skirmish there of the SCVs and probes. We had one SCV down, but a fellow SCV avenged Teeironor and went ahead and knocked off Dunn's probe there. So Dunn did lose his scout probe. But not too bad of an exchange there to also take out an SCV of Teeironor.
If anyone, it would have come out very, very slightly in favor of Dunn, because Teeironor did lose some mining time when he pulled a second SCV.
That is true.
But it's pretty much negligible, especially at this level of play.
Yeah, but at the same time, you also kind of get that security that he's not going to be able to cheese into your base with a pylon or something along those lines to be able to backdoor in. So it does give you that added benefit of security. Now, I don't know what I think about this SCV over here just, tickling away this assimilator. It's going to take a long time, and that SCV could be busy mining, getting more minerals or getting more gas. I would rather him just have waited to get, like, even these two Marines right here, he could be sending those over to kill that assimilator and using that SCV for better purposes.
Yeah, common practice when an assimilator or a gas is taken inside the opponent's base, just to rally your barracks onto the gas. Then, as soon as your units come out, they'll be dealt with. Exactly.
There's no point in not doing it. You aren't losing anything by that. What is he going to realize? Oh, you have Marines as a Terran. My God. So it's not too terribly bad. However, we do see Teeironor leaving his base right now. He's going to have a 6 Marine rush, perhaps. He's not going to fare very well if he walks into this with only 6 Marines, but I don't know. I'm going to go ahead and look here at Dunn's vision. He may not have seen those Marines come out, so that could be something in the favor of Teeironor. Unfortunately, Dunn already has 2 photon cannons up, as well as a Zealot and a Stalker out into play. This is not going to end well for Teeironor.
No, well, these cannons will be able to pick off, although this Zealot's been kited. He wasn't in pole position. So, Zealot through a Marine?
Not too bad.
Good trade.
Very good trade. And of course, Teeironor does now have his first Marauder out. Going on his second now. Teeironor not doing too bad of a job. He's also getting his infantry weapons level 1 upgrade
and he's just
at the moment as well.
Academy, which is a big move. He will be getting out those ghosts. We could be seeing nukes later on. And if Dunn's
I think more importantly is going to be using those ghosts to help infiltrate the Dunn, infiltrate Dunn's base.
Or even just EMP. EMPs are, of course, one of the best ways to deal with large amounts of Terrans. Take out the shields.
No, that's exactly what I mean. Using the EMP to go ahead and knock out those cannons really, really quickly. Or to help knock out those cannons really, really quickly.
True. Second base on the way for Dunn.
Yep, not a Dunn base this time around. We'll have to see if he pulls that out later on in the tournament or in the matchup. But for now, playing it safe, taking game 1. He wants to really focus in, make sure he takes game 1, build his confidence, tear down the confidence of Teeironor, and then perhaps we can see some good Dunn bases coming out. Remember, guys, this is a best of 5 series, which more or less means the first player to get to 3 wins will take the match set.
Big move out now coming up from Teeironor. Good number of Marines, only a couple of Marauders. This could batter down the wall with only, what, 3 Stalkers, a Zealot, and a Mothership Core. Dunn seems to be going on
but you cannot discount those. You cannot discount those photon cannons. They are beastly against these Marines and Marauders.
Very true, though. Good engagement could make all the difference.
Dunn is not paying attention.
Time Walk goes down, slow down the retreat. Well, that still looks to be in Dunn's favour. Or Teeironor's favour.
Teeironor is doing pretty well right now. He's kind of ignoring that cannon over there. Wants to go ahead and take out some of these Zealots.
Mothership Core goes down.
I'm thinking, this is definitely going to be an interesting battle. Looks like it may actually come out in Teeironor's favor. He is going to take that down now. All he's got to do is contend with that cannon, rather. But he's just going to get out of range, try and take down this warp gate. Once that warp gate goes down, Dunn is going to...
And we're
okay. Yeah, we should be back now. Sorry about that, guys. You didn't miss a whole lot, so don't worry too much. We did, unfortunately, have a little bit of a technical difficulty there. We are back in. Teeironor is still down here.
Putting on the big pressure.
Teeironor is still down here, and just continuing the fight. He did go ahead and take out those 2 cannons that were down there. Unfortunately, I do think that Dunn is going to be able to repel him here with these 3 Stalkers. Dunn is really going to have to pull it together because Teeironor, being the great Terran that he is, has already got another force built up, this time with even more Marauders.
Yeah, we could be seeing some tanks coming out with that tech lab factory, which would be quite a nice thing to see. Indeed, so Dunn definitely needs to pull it together here. I don't know if
More stalkers is gonna do it for you, Dunn.
Yeah,
I think a couple of sentries would be quite nice right now.
yeah, get off some of the good force feeds or guardian shields. It all depends on the engagements, really. Mothership core is now back up, so some good time warps could help Dunn's engagement, and there's also a warp prism ready to go to drop in some, I guess, zealots at this point. Dunn could, of course, go for DTs. He does like the DTs. Engagement now at the front of Dunn's base. Looking to go in Tyranior's favour.
No, I think that Dunn will be able to pull this one out.
Yeah, that warping of zealots really saved him, and now the immortals here, that's going to shred through the marauders. And all is quiet.
Not only that, but as Teeironor is building these tanks, actually he's building these widow mines, but if he were to go for tanks, then of course Dunn was prepared, already getting those immortals out and about, ready to go, ready to rumble, ready to fight.
Yeah, Zealot charge now on the way for Dunn, and Ghosts are now coming out for Teeironor. A nuke is available, so if Teeironor's able to land that, it could really tip one battle one way or the other. Of course, he does not want to nuke himself, which has happened to some unfortunate players. Teeironor going on the Dunn base scout. He won't find anything, he's only got those 2 bases. Although Teeironor is still sitting on just the 1 base. He's not building any expansion at all, which could really hurt him economically later in the game. He also only has 10 workers on minerals, so I'm surprised not mineral starved. The warp prism came in, now it's left. I'm not sure what was happening there. Well, the army did turn around as Teeironor saw it.
Teeironor is bringing up a marine over here, just to see what the path might be for this particular warp prism. I think the biggest thing with the warp prism is he just wants to basically be able to warp some people in, perhaps, if he wins this next engagement, to go ahead and be able to get into Teeironor's base immediately, or even perhaps while the engagement is going on, if Dunn feels confident enough, he can go ahead with the distraction of the engagement itself with Teeironor. Go ahead and warp prism in a good 4 folks there, and just wreck the economy. And of course Dunn does see the nuke coming, so he does move his forces out of the way. Unfortunately, it is going to probably take down those photon cannons there.
1 down, 1 heavily damaged, and now first and every charge goes off on the Nexus, so this is going to be one hell of an engagement for Teeironor to take.
It's going to be interesting to see how this plays out. It does look like Dunn has the advantage, though. Warping in. Zealots behind him, not necessarily needed. This is what I was talking about, Riorus. Instead of warping those Zealots in behind Teeironor, he could just as easily have warped those in right here on the mineral line of Teeironor's one and only base and completely decimated the economy of Teeironor.
Yeah, that would have completely taken Teeironor out of the game with a fairly small bank at the moment, and once again only 16 workers working. Here's the warp in though, of DTs though, so even just with this, the mineral line could crumble, and Teeironor has no detection.
He does, however, have a scan. He will get the scan off. They are going to walk right on out of scan range. Now they should be going down. Oh, and the second scan going off. You just wasted all of your energy, Teeironor. Not good. Not at all good.
No, he's now running towards the missile turret, so detection is now active, and all the DTs.
That was just fail across the board. Teeironor wasted all of his energy there to track those guys. Unfortunately, I guess it kind of worked in diverting them, or kind of carouseling them into the detection of his missile turret. So perhaps that was his plan, perhaps it was just dumb luck.
I'd go with the luck strategy. You wouldn't really want to use 2 scans to take out 4 DTs. Although, not a single SCV went down. Still the only workers killed were those 2 right at the beginning. And a second base is just finished for Teeironor at the natural.
Indeed. Unfortunately, though, Dunn has gone ahead and picked up speed, and Teeironor has actually fallen well behind at this point.
He has,
We're gonna add...
unfortunately, Robotics Bay on the way. Dunn really going for the tech up now. And his main base is completely mined out. He's going to have to expand again to keep up with the production he has set up.
Well, if you look there in the middle of the map, as we were talking about those gold mineral lines there, high yield expansion area, Dunn is going to go ahead and take one of those up. Teeironor actually has not scouted that at all, I don't believe.
Yeah, Teeironor has dropped off the aggression now, is going on for a bit of a turtling build. Got the siege tanks up on the high ground, got widow mines there, and his army is just sitting back in the base. This is now Dunn's opportunity to get his economy up and go in for an attack when he's ready.
We do have Dunn sending all of his probes from his main over to his nearly finished expansion.
That should pretty much saturate it straight away, seeing as these high yield expansions have slightly less mineral patches than a normal base, so that number of probes should happily saturate that completely. Done setting up the defenses with photon cannons, so the only way that Teeironor could really do too much damage is by sieging a tank up on the high ground just behind the mineral line. That ought to obliterate Dunn's entire probe line. Just Teeironor has to spot it.
And he will if this Marine, if you click on this Marine here, you will see his his movement queue line does eventually lead right to Dunn's expansion. So he will be finding that out here in about, I would say, 45 to 60 seconds or so.
Hopefully he'll be paying attention though, because one of those photon cannon blasts will take him down, and if Teeironor doesn't check it fast enough, then he won't see there's a base there. He could just assume, oh, he's got a stalker down there as a scout. Although it should be worth checking.
No, he'll see on his map, whenever he looks at his map, he will see that there is a cannon there. If we go ahead and take a look at his, he sees that there are two cannons there. If you see two cannons in that position, you might as well go ahead and assume that there is an expansion right here.
Yep, although Dunn's not going for the move out. Got one really scary army, Stalkers, Zealots, Immortals, and a single Colossus.
We do, however, have a Banshee, two Banshees now coming out from Teeironor. He is sending those Banshees over to, looks like a direct line to Dunn's base.
And there is an observer who has just left the army, and yeah, Dunn needs to bring back that observer right now, or move these probes away. And it's now back. These Banshees shouldn't survive. There we go. Got some damage done. 10 workers killed by just 2 Banshees, so I'd say that's worth it.
Well, it's definitely worth it. However, unfortunately for Teeironor, I think it's too little too late. He's already got that base well saturated, already lost his initial tank there. Now he's down to just this one extra tank that he just built, as well as the 2 that are in his defensive parameters.
Yeah, Teeironor is now looking to sit back and turtle. He's got the planetary fortress up. It's going to be one really hard assault for Dunn, but he could do it. There's not much detection at the front, so these couple of DTs that have been warped in could make or break this fight.
Indeed they could. He does, at this point, seem to have his Stalkers here to defend against another Banshee attack, if that's the will and the desire of Teeironor. He's also, of course, got this Colossus here as well. He's got his Zealots, Ghosts, and Immortals going right after this tank. That tank is going to melt.
Nuke
and now Dunn is in line to fight. Nuke going down, but not really worth it. What's he going to get out of that nuke? Not a whole lot, really.
Couple of Immortals. I mean, Dunn's main army is still sitting back at the high yield expansions. And there goes his expansion. Wow, that was an absolute nightmare for
Teeironor. Not only did he lose a good portion of his army, he didn't really take out anything super important
No, that was the weak
Dunn.
part of Dunn's army. Dunn could now
Exactly.
walk right in with those Stalkers and the Colossus and take it all away. And of course, Dunn can also just warp in more Zealots to be the meat shield.
Indeed, I'm not sure what Dunn's plan is with that exactly, but we'll certainly have to see. If there was a dead-on engagement between Teeironor and Dunn at this particular point in time, Teeironor would probably take the cake. We do, however, have a second Colossus coming in, as well as 4 more Stalkers, so we'll have to take a look and see what Dunn wants to do. He's going to go ahead and warp in 2 more DTs, as well as 6 more Zealots.
Yeah, and so an assault could be
Dunn
coming.
really not capitalizing on his advantage that he created for himself.
No, the missile turret's now up, so well, that observer's dead, and it's going to be much harder to get those DTs into the base.
It's going to be impossible to get those DTs into the base.
True that, especially with
Well, it will be
lots of
impossible
different
unless, of
threats.
course, he diverges his Zealots in there, gets a good rush to Zealots initially in there, and then using the DTs to do some dirty work in the back.
Yeah, it'll be quite difficult. Of course, he could just go for another warp prism. If it skirts right round the top of the map, it should be out of range of this missile turret. And I mean, it would have to aim for production. Well, they would have to aim for production, seeing as Teeironor's main base is completely mined out. He's relying solely on this expansion. Dunn, however, expanding. Now, this is what I call a Dunn base, down to the bottom right side. He's got a Stargate up, so this looks like a Stargate tech switch. We could be seeing Void Rays. So yeah, this is the textbook definition of the Dunn base right here.
Yeah, I think Dunn realizes he's kind of at a bit of a standstill with Teeironor here, and so he wants to see if he can create himself a nice, decent edge to get himself over the hump that is the main entrance to Teeironor's main base.
Yeah, and looking at the income for both the players, Dunn is at nearly double the mineral count and well over double the gas count for income-wise, and just with that, Dunn could quite happily take the game if he just lets it drag out, let Teeironor whittle down his resources, and make sure he does not escape that area he has at the moment. Banshee now taking out probes, and Dunn ignoring it actually, going in for the engagement at the front. Got a
This
big-
engagement should work out in Dunn's favor.
Yes, most of Teeironor's army is already down, the planetary fortress is about to fall, the SCV's trying to repair, but they should be... Oh, they might not be out of DPS. Dunn is swapping his focus around. And a nuke is now going down. If this lands, Dunn... Oh, no, Dunn's already being pushed away. Successful engagement there for Teeironor?
I don't know if Dunn should have turned back around.
No.
Not against these Thors. We talked about this at the beginning of the match, Riorus, that Teeironor loves his Thors and he knows how to use them in magical, wonderful ways.
Very true, and this Colossus could go down if this Viking is persistent enough.
No, I think that the Viking's going to walk right into those cannons and be taken care of. Teeironor setting up right outside Dunn's base. Not sure if he wants to. Not sure if pressing that attack is going to be the wisest decision that he could do. Nope, he's going to go ahead and turn around and go right towards Dunn's main.
Yeah, which is now
Perhaps
mostly
nice.
undefended.
Yeah, unfortunately it is. However, the good thing about being Protoss, of course, you do have those warp gates. Dunn sitting on 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, what, 8 warp gates right now? 7 warp gates?
Yep, there are 8 warp gates at the moment. A Robo and a Stargate. So Dunn is open to whatever tech path he chooses right now. He hasn't really committed to too much. Several Void Rays are now out, which could do some damage, although with just only a few Void Rays, these Thors will be able to dominate them. enough Void Rays though, and with the ability, can't think of their name right now. The
Prismatic alignment.
That's the one. Yeah, the increased damage against armor means that Thors will not be able to stand up to large numbers of Void Rays.
The other thing to note here is that even though Teeironor does have that expansion down, he put it down so late that he may as well have been one-basing the entire game. So even though he does have that expansion down, he is completely mined out at his main. He's actually only got one refinery left, which only has 152 gas in it.
Yeah, so that'll be red any minute. More Vikings on the way. Dunn having a DT scout around. Just looking for any extra bases, although Teeironor is still sitting back, relaxing and maxing all cool. Dunn's looking to go in with these Void Rays when he can. Stalker count getting quite hefty again, although there is now no Colossi, which is probably a good idea. Colossi really only work particularly well against Marines, and the Marauders and Thors will not take too much damage from Colossus. They're more for the crowd control. Rotary count getting fairly hefty, up to what, 5 now, with more on the way. Colossus now being built. I'd almost say that Dunn should probably get some Immortals, start building up the army, and probably go for a good assault if he gets the right engagement, and focuses down that planetary fortress. Void Ray is getting repelled immediately by the numbers of Marines.
Yeah, but the biggest thing about that is Teeironor's gonna have to keep pumping out Marines. The Marines are so cheap and so quickly built that if you're not careful, you end up with just a bunch of Marines and not much to back those Marines up. And of course, those Marines are gonna get absolutely dominated and melted by the Colossi of Dunn. So you have to be really, really careful. Teeironor has to be really, really careful in this particular instance. Now we do have a Dunn base coming out from Teeironor himself over here, facing off against the creator of the Dunn base. He's gonna go ahead and do that just to see if he can get away with it.
Yeah, a few Archons have now been morphed down at the bottom right. Probably that's an interesting choice. He can be nice and tanky, and I think it could help in the big engagements, although he'll have to send them in with the whole force of his army. Dunn could almost scout this base with the Void Rays that are going around now, but he's going to look at the third. If he does check the top left, then Teeironor's in for a bad time.
That he is. The other thing, and with that, I mean, Dunn is in a position where he has pretty much complete control of the map right now. All that he's really got to do, and I don't know how well that particular... I don't know about that nuke. That was interesting for sure.
Waste. Because even just doing that has now launched that nuke, and Teeironor's going to have to build it again. Don't get some harassing, but he's not.
Yeah, and he's going the wrong way. I would have rather have seen him kind of back up a little bit instead of trying to skirt around and eventually get caught by all these Marines right here. He is definitely going to lose one, if not two.
Well, he could have lost them all if Teeironor had actually decided to get Stim. I will say this till the end of time. Yeah. Get Stim! God. Also, get Medivacs. That's something that Teeironor has not bothered to get. There are no Medivacs on the field, just lots of Thors, good numbers of Marines, and a few Marauders.
And Dunn doing a lot of damage to this planetary fortress, but unfortunately it's not going to be enough to take it down. I almost think that Dunn was just trying to use that as a bit of a distraction, and also to maybe get rid of those air units there. He just didn't feel that he needed them too much anymore.
Yeah, well...
He's also throwing these Archons away.
Yeah, completely thrown. Not worth that engagement. Should have sent them in with the Stalkers as well. Could have had a lot more success.
Honestly, I feel like Dunn at this point in time could take the match. Especially when he had those 4 Archons. I feel that he definitely could have taken the match.
Now he's just really throwing away Zealots. I think he needs to get more upgrades. He's going for the level 3 ground weapons and is going to be searching armor and shields next. and that could really help him
Riorus
tip it.
still has not discovered this base of Teeironor way out here in the top left of the map. And the biggest thing with that is Dunn had, as I was trying to say earlier, Dunn has complete map control. With the exception of that corner, pretty much. And so that's the place where he needs to be scouting. Maybe even put down a pylon or two, just to keep an eye on that particular area of the map, just to make sure that this that's happening right now with this expansion doesn't happen. And then you're in a position where you can just completely and utterly starve the Terran out of the game.
Yeah, I mean,
You keep in this whole plan of Dunn, where he keeps throwing these little smaller attacks towards Riorus. Eventually, he is going to whittle away at those forces, or at Teeironor rather. He is going to whittle away at those forces, which will inevitably, you know, starve him out. If he has no money to buy them back, then what are you going to do? You know.
And Teeironor seems to be nuking a pretty much mined out base. It's a pain, but I mean, he's lost out on 240 minerals. He's got the other high yield up and running happily. He's got another base on the way, so yeah, that was a waste of a nuke again.
And of course, Dunn using that distraction there to go ahead and warp in just a massive amount of DTs into the back of Riorus' base. Riorus not having any detection right now.
I don't know why I don't have any detection. Just, if I was actually playing this game, I probably would. But Teeironor's playing this game, Pride. You should probably remember that.
Well, what a lot of people don't know is that I get you and Teeironor mixed up all the time outside of the game, so it's really no surprise.
Yeah. Yeah, these DCs is just going to shred this base. And this could end it for Teeironor. I mean, this is going to shut down all production.
Looks like Teeironor is abandoning his main and just
going for the
maybe transitioning. He's either going to go in for one massive attack on the center, or he's moving all of his folks over there to his third base. Or he could even be marching them right on into Dunn's main base. Nope, here we go. He is going to go ahead and attack the expansion. The biggest thing is Dunn's moved out. Dunn isn't in a position to defend this right now. But the other thing, or the interesting thing, is that Dunn doesn't really need to defend this right now, does he?
No, he's got a huge bank. The only thing he really needs is gas, and I mean, high yield does not help gas. And he's already mined out both the high yields. So I mean, these bases are just going to be picking away at Teeironor's units. And I mean, just sacrificing these, that's worth it. Teeironor cannot rebuild now. There's been so many Templar walked in. Teeironor's second base is now lost, and now the only thing going for Teeironor is this top base. And now this one just to the left of the map. But Dunn should find that relatively quickly, and if he doesn't, I don't know how he got to the finals.
Well, I believe he got to the finals by beating you.
Yeah, but he cheated.
Oh.
We had a gentleman's agreement, and then he walked in DTs behind my army. No gentleman would do that.
No, but a person who plays in the grand finals would.
I suppose so. Dunn looks to be coming back, although there are just two large armies not doing much.
Yeah, they're just kind of walking around.
Teeironor now walking into the front. His cannons will do something, but not much at all. And Dunn now knows where Teeironor is, and it's going to come in from behind. And ought to take out these stores, because Teeironor really doesn't have much at all.
Yeah, Teeironor is in a really bad position here. You may look at this and say, well, he's in Dunn's main base, destroying everything, but the problem is he now has no way out of Dunn's main base. And these guys, all of these stores are going to fall. And then it's just a matter of time before Dunn goes in, finds Teeironor's expansions, wipes them out, and wins the game once and for all.
Yeah, with the loss of the
army.
army.
So, right now, what I'm looking at, and there's the GG right there. So, game number 1 does, in fact, go to MPD. Let's take a look at the score screen. And let's break that down a little bit there. Oh, all right, so, Riorus.
Yes.
I meant at the end of the day, what happened?
What happened? What happened was Teeironor was sitting on 2 key bases for too long. Dunn was able to get his economy rolling. He was able to keep producing more units, and every attack that Dunn did with those zealots, I mean, it looked like throwing away units, but, well, I mean, Dunn could replace that couple of hundred minerals instantly, and eventually Dunn was able to whittle down Teeironor until he was able to make a mistake. Those DTs went right into the back and melted away the remains of production, and then Teeironor was just left with that one solid army, and, well, there was nothing Teeironor could do at that point. Dunn had more units, more money, more time.
Very much indeed. I'm gonna go ahead, since we had a little bit of a call problem there at the beginning. I'm gonna go ahead and turn my cam back on for everyone to see. Not sure if you still have that set up on your end or not, Riorus, but yeah.
Your camera is not actually working yet.
Yes. So the biggest thing, I don't know. Teeironor was in a really, really good position early on in the game. He had Dunn on the ropes very early. Unfortunately, he didn't really capitalize on that initial sort of, I don't know, I wouldn't say necessarily an advantage, but I mean, he definitely was in a position where he could have beaten Dunn. And unfortunately, he just didn't expand. And that's one of those things that I see a lot, and you know, a lot of the matches that I play, you play, you know, we're lower on the totem pole. So we find ourselves consumed with what's happening now and not necessarily building towards the future. And I think that that's sort of the case we saw here with Teeironor. Teeironor saw that he was in an advantageous situation and was going to go ahead and continue to press that advantage. Unfortunately, he didn't build himself in case that advantage eventually failed. And that was when we saw that he wasn't expanding, he wasn't getting the upgrades that he needed for the future. He was only focusing on the now, and sometimes that can be a very, very big mistake. And fortunately for Dunn, that's exactly what happened. He made the mistake. He didn't. He not only did Teeironor not fully take advantage of the advantageous situation that he was in, but he also was not building towards his own future, and that, of course, led to his own demise. Now, Dunn, on the other hand, also made a few key errors, and I feel that the biggest one isn't necessarily an error, just, I don't know really what you would call it, but he didn't really press the fight. Like, he constantly sent units into Teeironor's base, constantly harassing Teeironor, constantly, keeping him on edge, right? But he, at several times, had more than the necessary army to take out Teeironor and end the game. And instead of going on a 48-minute match, we should have had like an 18, 20, 25-minute match at most. So that's something that hopefully in the future games that we see those two both look at the advantage and press those advantage to their fullest. But also for Teeironor, I'd like to see him kind of in the background in the macro management of the game, keep building himself towards his future instead of building for the right now.
Yeah, you got to get both parts of the game right, not just micro, not just macro. You need both sides to be actually any good at this game. And Fried, if you want to take another look at your camera, because I'm not getting anything on this end.
Still not working, huh?
Nope.
Let's see if we can get that sumbitch turned on. Still got our black loading screen.
Just getting a flashing circle on this end. Anyway, we'll be setting up the next game.
Yeah, go ahead and get the next game started. I'll go ahead and leave this call, then come back in. That should be able to fix that problem. So we'll be back in just a second.
And we're back.
Indeed, we are ready for game number 2 in this best of 5 series. I'm Pride, joined by Riorus. We are casting, we are not casters, so I don't know how well it's going to turn out, but I think we did alright in game 1, Riorus. I think we did pretty good. We're talking over each other occasionally, but you know what? That's going to happen.
Yeah.
That's going to happen.
I mean, we looked the part. That's all I care about.
Yes, we do. And let's go ahead and move Teeironor into place, and let's get game number 2 started right here on the Smoking Gamer Interstaff Starcraft 2 tournament number 1.
Yeah, just waiting to make sure they're both ready. We'll be heading in just a second.
We have MPD possibly playing Zerg.
If Dunn would actually look at the game, not the Skype chat, he would understand things a little bit better. Right. Countdown has now begun.
5, 4, 3, 2. What? I don't know why it does it. It always like gets to 4 and then it like
Jumps.
stops, and then it goes like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1.
It doesn't like that number 3. Doesn't trust it.
Sorry, my everything was like taken down because of a fucking Steam thing. Anyways, so Riorus, how are we looking?
Looking good. We're heading on into Acheron Wastes with Dunn now playing Zerg. Teeironor sticking with Terran. And we are now in the game. And we have MPD, also known as Dunn, in the top left-hand side of Acheron Wastes as the orange Zerg. And Teeironor still as the red Terran in the bottom right side. And Teeironor with his quotes as... I mean, he got quite popular for those during the group stage. He'd always have one prepared. Dunn also going with the typically nerdy or nerdy wordy responses. Very intelligent rhymes. I assume that it's me, it's MPD. That's a wrestling thing, isn't it, Brad? You know those things.
Hold on, girl is talking to me on Steam.
Drop everything for a pretty girl. Professionalism. Oh dear. Yeah, back in the game, Dunn going for the double extractor trick. Teeironor just mining, balling up. And there's an overlord heading across the map. Pretty much exactly as you'd expect from a ZVT. Has the pretty girl left you alone, that Pride?
I told her it was actually for a it's business related. She's got a band in there doing some music for me.
Sure.
Oh, for real, she was linking me one of the latest recordings.
Fair enough. Spawning pool and extractor going down for Dunn. 2 refineries already up for Teeironor. So I'm thinking Thor Rush. I feel it. I feel it in my bones. Thor Rush is coming. Now, with the Thor Rush, Teeironor can get those Thors out in about 8 minutes. Even less if he gets those timings perfect. Although, this Overlord could see it coming. And Dunn will have time to prepare with whatever he decides is going to be the best defense. Which one coming up? Yeah, I wouldn't really go for a Roach one if it was the Thors. Lings can be surprisingly good against Thors if you get them up in enough numbers. It's just going to be a pretty hefty investment to get them all out. Factory now here, so yeah, I'm still thinking the Thor rush.
So you're thinking we're going to get that classic Teeironor Thor rush against the Zerg player. That is one of the things that Teeironor really loves to do versus Zerg. He likes to get in there, get those Thors out, and just dominate.
Yeah, it can work against just about any race. I mean, I think the first time he used it was against me in the group stages. I was playing Terran, so it works in TVT. I'm pretty sure I've seen it work in TVP, and I'm pretty certain it'll work in TVZ as well.
It's absolutely amazing in TVZ.
Yeah. Yeah, Armory's now here. But a reactor's going down on the factory. What? Hellbats? This is all I can think is what it's going to be. Yeah, this is not the Thor rush. And I am very confused right now.
Don't be too confused. Just, I've seen him use this before. Don't freak out or anything.
Oh yeah, tell me more.
It's just another thing that Teeironor likes to do. He likes to get those guys in there, and he likes to kind of sit them right outside your base. And whenever you go to attack him, he sometimes will sneak those right on in and just try and destroy your economy. He doesn't go too far into them, into the fire bats, but he does build a couple, and he'll kind of hide them away somewhere, kind of stow them out somewhere, and then come in and try and wreck you whenever you come to attack him. Usually what I see him do in conjunction with this is he'll still do the Thor build. It's not as fast, obviously, but he does get the Thor build going. He just brings out a couple of Hellbats initially.
Yeah, that's a good move. Also, there are no Marines at all out for Teeironor yet, just going for Heavy Marauder. And in fact, he's getting a missile turret up just to deal with an Overlord. The missile turret doesn't actually finish. The roaches are able to pick off the SCV, and the Overlord is able to get out of there.
Yeah, Dunn definitely realizing he wasn't going to be able to take out that missile turret, so gonna be safe and back off the Overlord just a bit.
Yep, so can't get quite as much scouting information. Tech Lab down on the starport could possibly see a switchover.
We also do have second Queen coming out for Dunn.
Still no expansion. Good number of Banelings.
I have a feeling that expansion is coming very quickly, very soon.
Oh, hello. I think we missed one. There's a Dunn base down.
Yep. Just saw it. There is the classic Dunn base once again, this time as Zerg. That expansion's coming a little bit late, though.
Yeah, normally as Zerg you want to be getting that expansion down in about 6 minutes if you can. Try to get your economy rolling as soon as possible. Of course, because of the mechanics of Zerg, the more hatcheries you have, the more units you can produce. They are not just your money makers, they are your production. Got a good number of Banelings now at the front for front of Teeironor's base. Although it won't really do much as there's such a high number of Marauders. And there is now a medevac loaded up with a single Hellbat, a Marauder and a Widow Mine, which is quite an odd mix. I'd say 2 Hellbats would be good, or 2 Hellbats, or a Hellbat and 2 Marauders.
Well, it's also interesting to know that he is researching Cloaking Field as well right now.
So he will be going for the Banshees, I suppose. Won't be going for that switch round.
Should be seeing some Banshees here rather soon from Teeironor. And I have to admit that Dunn is not going to be very well prepared for those Banshees if they come out in the next 2 to 3 minutes.
No, not at all. He does have the Evolution Chamber down, so he can put up the Spore Crawlers. But at the moment, the only thing that can shoot anywhere near up is those Queens, and they won't be able to see them or the Banshees. Move out now for Teeironor. So Baneling's got some hits off, weakening the Marauders, but not really doing too much damage.
Not at all, especially if Teeironor does something with that heal bot that he had over there. I don't know where that heal bot went, but I saw it somewhere.
You mean Medevac, the one heading up to the top?
Ah, yes, there it is. It's now over here.
Interestingly, Dunn cancelled an expansion. That is natural. I guess he saw the army coming, didn't think he could protect it, so he sent this drone down to go to other places. And looks like a two-pronged attack is on the way.
We're gonna get that frontal assault there from Teeironor, but also while he's fighting that, we're gonna see a little bit of a second assault coming in from the back. Unfortunately for Teeironor, those Banelings are gonna do so much work and take out a good portion of Teeironor's army. He will have enough to weaken Dunn in such a way that he should be able to get... Teeironor should be able to get that medevac in there to do some damage as well. I don't know where that medevac went. Perhaps it got shot down by the Queen. It did drop, so the Queens took care of the front then, or the back.
Yeah, the only problem is there was now a Widow Mine slap bang in the middle of Dunn's production line. So that can get off some good shots, and it's about to tick over. About 5 seconds.
Yep.
And this should alert Dunn to its all the fact it's there. Doesn't kill much, but I mean, if that's not cleaned up soon, that's gonna be a real thorn in the side.
Well, basically what's gonna happen is every time it goes off, it's gonna take out
at least one worker.
a drone. Yeah, a drone. So
if it's lucky, maybe even more. If Dunn, or if Tim decides to go over there, he can actually target it and tell it to attack some of the more tightly knit drones. Another shot coming off. Ooh, that was a good one. 4 kills all, and now it's taken out. That would have might easily paid for itself.
yes, it did.
Yeah, Tim, we're not going for a really high number of Hellbats. We've got a Hellbat Marauder force coming out. Banshee's now finishing up and are on the way. Cloaking's finished, so there is now a Spore Crawler up in that mineral line. But if this Banshee continues on the way it's going, it might spot the Dunn base. Oh, it's going to be close. Yeah, it's seen the creep. Now, if... There we go, it's now turning around, and if it cloaks, yep, this base should go bye-bye.
Not only that, we also have Teeironor coming in from the front. Yeah, I don't see Dunn repelling this. I really don't. Not with what he's got right now. But he does have a Nidus network going with some Zerglings in there.
Seeing as though we'll be able to get that up in time, or will he bring them out to try and deal with Teeironor's attack to the front?
They haven't come out yet, so we got a little bit of a slow reaction time. Now they're coming out. Oh, maybe not. No, they're not.
Just sitting in there.
That's going to be it for Dunn. I think Dunn's done.
Yeah, that looks over. I mean, Teeironor's half of the Teeironor's forces when he just started attacking. Spine still fighting.
Havoc coming down here in the back of Teeironor's base. Unfortunately, I just don't think... Yeah, no. Teeironor's already over here, and he's already going to take this thing out. And that's going to be it. That's going to be GG for Dunn. I'm sorry. There's just nothing Dunn can do at this point.
Yeah, production's about to go down. Dunn claims it to be impossible. As we can see, there is no such thing as impossible in Starcraft. The Dunn base goes down, main base is gone. GG.
Don't even know why I try to Zerg. GG. GG is coming out from Dunn. That means we will at least be seeing 4 games this evening. We are now tied 1-1 in this best of 5 series. I've got to say, That was pretty exciting. Pretty well executed plan there by Teeironor. He did come out with those fire bats. Now, I did say that one of the things he does is he likes to have those fire bats kind of in the back there. He kind of did that with the medevac, but he kind of went for a fire bat build, and it paid off, especially versus Zerg.
Yeah, Dunn really went for those early banelings, which would have been a lot more effective if Teeironor actually had any Marines at all. But with those nice tanky units, the Hellbats, the Marauders, banelings, they hurt. Undeniably, they hurt. They hurt against anything, but they really do the damage against the Marines. Yeah, and I mean, Teeironor had constant pressure. Dunn was barely able to fight back, and was able to just kind of roll over, take the game by force. Alright, we'll be setting up the third match now.
Ah, so I figured out what my input limit reach thing is.
Oh yeah?
Apparently it's a bug when you have too many friends.
Of course it is.
That's what it says!
I don't believe that, not for a second.
It appears that it is related to having a very large friends list. They are aware of it as a current bug and are going to be addressing it. This was posted, I don't know how long ago, but it doesn't really say. That's what it says. I don't know if that's exactly what it is right now or not, but as far as I know, that's where we're at. Apparently my friends list is far too big. Too many friends. Not a bad problem to have, really.
Why'd I have to strike out Epine?
Alright, so what happened, Riorus? What happened in that match?
What happened? What happened was there was a lot of aggression from Teeironor. Teeironor knew what he was doing. He had his plan, and he put it into effect with great success. Dunn was not able to hold off the aggression. He wasn't able to get his economy running, and he just did not have the right units, didn't have enough units to deal with what came at him.
Alright, and so the third match is set and ready to go. Dunn is ready. Teeironor should be ready here in just a moment. We are going to be playing on Belshir Vestige. And so I think we can go ahead and jump into this game. We should be starting. Yep, both players are ready. Let's go ahead and get this game started. In 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Yes.
Every
All
time.
right, so I don't get it, man. I really don't. I don't know what the problem is. Why it just decides to skip that half second. So we are going to be having a TVT match now, Terran versus Terran. Interesting to note that throughout this entire tournament, I think Teeironor has only played Terran. Like he hasn't gone anything other than Terran. I don't think I've seen a match with him going Protoss or Zerg.
Yeah,
while it's Dunn and myself, we're both all over the place. We were hell, I even played random a couple of times.
Yeah, I believe I've been sticking mainly with Terran, although I have played, I think, 1 or 2 games as a Zerg. Anyway, Dunn the wordsmith as always.
I gotta say, I kind of like Dunn's quote a little more than Teeironor's there.
Interesting, we have a TVT Dunn switch around again, now as the orange Terran in the bottom right hand side of the map. And his opponent still sticking to his guns as red Terran, the Dominion. It is Teeironor. Oddly enough, Teeironor might be the only person who takes away from Starcraft that Dominion are the best characters.
So this is the third game in a best of 5, so I don't know, how long did that last one take? About 20 minutes?
Yeah,
something like that. I think we may be here for a while.
Certainly looks that way. Although, if we see cheese, maybe a fast store, that can win a game in about 10 minutes. if that comes out properly, that'll be victorious for Teeironor, then another game. So we could be out of here in, I don't know, 40 minutes at best bet. But no, we want to sit here and watch Starcraft, don't we, Pride?
I want to go to sleep.
Oh, stop your bitching and watch the game. It's video games. You can't sleep through them. I got the double refinery up for Teeironor, which is the first sign of the Thor Rush. I really want it to be the Thor Rush, okay? If it's the Thor Rush, I'll be a happy bunny. Whereas on Dunn's end...
So what you're saying is you want to rush so that we can go ahead and get game 3 over with and move on
No,
to
I
game.
just want Dunn to suffer at the hands of the Thor Rush. Because I don't think Teeironor had worked out the Thor Rush when he played Dunn.
Dunn was his second matchup, I believe, of the tournament, of the group stages.
No, Dunn has probably not faced the Thor Rush. And I want him to feel the pain. Because it's not a nice thing to go up against.
That is true. I think myself and, well, I didn't face the Thor Rush when I played Teeironor, as that was week 1. That was the first week.
I think you're the first person he'd ever played Starcraft against. I didn't understand why there were things killing his base that he couldn't see.
Yeah, it was a fluke win, for sure.
Yeah, Teeironor, of course, coming back to do fairly well. And of course, now here in the finals.
Yeah, could potentially win the entire thing, which would make me feel absolutely amazing, because when I lost to Teeironor, I gave up on life, and you know, very, very much contemplated becoming a hermit.
No, Teeironor has actually been getting fairly good at Starcraft. I mean, he only picked it up pretty much to participate in the tournament. So... yeah.
However, you do have to realize that Teeironor is an amazing Warcraft 3 player. I'm talking amazing. I was pretty good at the Warcraft 3 as well, no doubt. But Teeironor could probably hold his own against me in Warcraft 3, which is actually saying quite a bit. Now, Starcraft, not so much. I don't like Starcraft, so I've never really gotten into it to the point that I did Warcraft 3. But Teeironor is an amazing RTS player, and he knows what he's doing when he gets his hands on an RTS, whether it be Warcraft, Starcraft, or Red Alert, or what have you.
Are you saying that we could be seeing a show match between you and Teeironor of Warcraft 3?
We could, absolutely. It would not matter to me at all.
Done already missing Chrono Boost after just a game and a bit without it.
The biggest problem
Sorry,
with
man.
myself and Teeironor doing a Warcraft 3 match is that we are in different regions, and of course the Warcraft 3 servers are not very good at all. Even when you're on your proper server, I still lag like hell on the correct server, US East. But
yeah, we managed to do with that live stream of the Apocalypse, didn't we? Played quite a few games there.
that's true.
Stop trying to weasel out of it.
Oh, I'm not trying to weasel. If Teeironor wants to face me in Warcraft 3, I say bring it on. Let's go. Let's do this. It's been a long time since I booted up my favorite game.
Hey, Thor is about to be here at the 7.5 minute mark. Really coming out fast. And... yep, looks like the move out is on the way. There are... what, 6 Marauders and a Thor right up against the 8 Marines and 2 Marauders.
Gotta say, I'm gonna have to give it to Dunn on this one, actually.
Could be. He's been really working on getting out those units quickly.
Not only that, but I mean, you have to take a look at everything here. You have to take a look at the fact that Teeironor's gotta come up into Dunn's base. That's gonna give Dunn more than enough time to pick off a lot of those Marauders. And if he even tries to focus on that Thor, he's going to catch that Thor pretty low as well. And all he's got to do is keep focusing on that Thor. Once that Thor is down, I mean, you're right there. It's going to take Teeironor a long time to get reinforcements for this attack force. Matter of fact, he's probably not going to. He's banking on this attack force, and he's not going to send anything else. At least not right now. And so I've got to give this fight to Dunn.
Yeah, it could look that way. I'm not sure what Teeironor's focusing right now. Did some damage to the reactor for some reason. And damage has been done. The Thor is going to run away. Going to do some damage down here.
He's actually going to turn around, and we have a Reaper coming in now. That's going to actually do a little bit of damage, and that's going to knock out a good portion of Dunn's army.
Yeah, cheeky little guy. He's been scouting for Dunn earlier in the game. And another Thor on the way.
Actually a case of mistaken identity. I thought that was Teeironor's Reaper, not Dunn's Reaper.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, it came up and just like, you know, was right there. I was like, oh my god.
Yeah, it would have been an interesting turn of events, but no such luck for Teeironor.
We do, however, have a second strike force coming down here. Once again, aided by another Thor. I've got to say, that Thor is doing a lot of damage to Dunn here.
Yeah, thoughts are scary, scary things, but I mean, there is a second base now set up. Going to the third position, flying over. And that Alt Command can now do as it likes, put down some mules. But there is now an attack coming in at the front. Dunn now has a lot more marauders, and that's really what he wants to hold this off. Teeironor's going to need quite a bit more. There's also a tank. Yeah,
the tank is going to do it. That's unfortunate, Teeironor.
Yeah.
I feel like if Teeironor had waited until now, I think he would have had a much better shot.
Yeah, 2 Thors, even more.
Yeah, he would have had 3 Thors, 4 Thors at this point in time.
4 Thors, great number of marauders, and Dunn wouldn't have prepared as much for the Thor rush. So I mean, we've seen a smaller army here. Dunn would have gone for more of an economic build. I mean, all would have been slightly more in Teeironor's favour.
Yeah, at this point, especially with that second base there from Dunn, Dunn's just going to take this. He's going to turn this into an advantage. He's going to turn this disadvantage into the advantage.
Yeah, Teeironor has been focusing so much on getting those stores out quickly. He's now really behind in his economy. It's not too bad. I mean, there's 15 mining for Dunn, only 11 for Teeironor. If we look at the income, it's actually pretty much even. Just tipping over to Dunn's favour.
Yeah, but that favor is going to drastically increase the longer that Teeironor stays at a single base. Teeironor really has to work on getting that expansion up early. Now, the biggest thing with that is he does rush these Thors, and those Thors are expensive. And yeah, if you go ahead and expand, what would he be? He'd be out, what, 1 Thor, basically?
Yeah, something like that. Dunn going for a
more than worth it, Mike.
Dunn seems to think he's playing Zerg this game, getting all the expansions.
Well, I mean, you said it yourself. He initially went into this game, he went with a more economic build. He went ahead and rushed in some tanks, right, when he saw those that Thor rush coming. Then he realized that he had held Teeironor back, and he knows that now he has time. He has time to spare to build up his economy, and that's exactly what he's going to do. So that's what I was talking about. He's going to take that disadvantage and turn it into an advantage. He's going to take the opportunity that he knows that he pushed Teeironor back, and Teeironor, with those Thors, yeah, he's going to get a lot of them, but he's also putting a lot of cash into those Thors.
Yeah, I do feel he's missing out, though. Or I do feel Dunn's missing out, though. He doesn't have... Oh, he's only just got a sideboard up, and he could go in for some pretty strong drops. The bad thing about Thors is that they are slow. I mean, and the Marauders can't shoot up. So Teeironor does not have the most mobile army right now, and if some good drops into the back of the base could really do some damage. Maybe even escape if Dunn's quick off the mark.
That is true.
Expansion now for Teeironor being built on the low ground, trying to get that mining as quickly as possible. Dunn really relying on mules, actually. and he doesn't really have the energy to sustain that, so he might have 3 bases, but he does not have enough workers right now. And if we look at the units tab, only 3 workers behind for Teeironor. That's not much at all, especially when there is a 2-bit, or now only a single base difference. Let's see. Yeah, Teeironor now sitting with 6 Thors and 14 Marauders. And in a head-on engagement, I'd say this would still slightly favour Teeironor. Dunn.
The other thing with this, though, is if you look at the upgrades, Dunn is well ahead.
Yeah, very true. 1-1 already complete for infantry. Only 1 vehicle and ship plating armoured finished, and of course,
Concussive shells.
Also has concussive shells for both players. Dunn also going for combat shield and stim pack. Of course, Teeironor has no need for combat shield, seeing as he has no marines. He does have marauders, which do benefit from stim, so maybe he should get stim. I've been saying this.
We also do have some medevacs coming out with the reactors, so he'll be able to pump those out 2 at a time.
Yeah,
I'm going to go ahead and say that's why he got that second base. I'm thinking he got that more for the gas than he did the barrels. He is working an extremely gas-heavy build right now.
Yeah, he's really banking up the minerals. 1,600, 1,700, and a Thor drop is now on the way. And I didn't think I'd be seeing that from Dunn. I was hoping Teeironor would go for that.
I'm thinking Dunn is possibly going expansion hunting right now. Unfortunately, the first expansion he's going to roll up into already has, what, 5 Thors and a couple Marauders guarding it, so I don't think that it's going to work out very well for that 1 Thor of Dunn's.
No, he will not last long. There's also not much to kill there, so I mean, it's just sitting in the top corner now. I think Dunn's forgotten. He's working on other things. It's now being backed up with Marines. Yeah, I think if Dunn was able to fill up all the medevacs he has at the moment, he could do a pretty effective Doom drop. Especially with Teeironor now moving forward. And Teeironor seems to have stopped his Thor production for a while, and the numbers aren't quite as high as I'd like for just a Thor Marauder army. And the move out.
We have a second medevac joining him. I think you mentioned that with the Marines backing them up. But if Dunn can kind of hold this back, which he shouldn't have an issue doing it, really, then we could very well be seeing Dunn come in here for a drop.
Teeironor also going for the drop, Thor and Hellion this time. I'm not sure if they actually saw each other. They passed in vision. He might not respond in time. Teeironor now really doesn't have much to deal with this. He has a single Thor and 2 Marauders. And this is not looking good for Teeironor's natural. Although it's not looking good for Dunn's either. It's already fallen.
Yeah, but fortunately for Dunn, he has that expansion up here to back that up, so he's not going to be too worried about that. He is going to go ahead and move out, though. Not sure if it was a smart idea to move out. We'll have to see how this works out for him.
He just lost.
No, that is so bad. So terrible for Teeironor. That did not work out in his favor at all. And now Teeironor is on the ropes. All Dunn has to do, walk in, clean up this Hellion Thor rush that has happened in the back here. After that, all he's got to do is run straight towards beeline for Teeironor's base, and he should have this in the bag, no problem.
Yeah, he doesn't really even need to defend right now. I mean, a Thor and a few Hellions, it's going to do damage, but it's not going to destroy a base, especially if you lift up. Because his Thor is now so low already. And I mean, Dunn's army could win this game straight away if he just pushes in.
Yeah, that's the thing we were talking about in that after that first game. These people just... Dunn and Teeironor both not really pressing the advantages when they get them. We'll have to see if Dunn's going to rectify that by loading up all these medevacs, perhaps sending them over to Teeironor's base.
I'm not sure if that was a misclick or he's going for a Doom drop, but all these Marines are now following behind. Interesting choice. All the Marauders are left behind. This seems like a mistake.
Not necessarily, because Marines are going to counter the Thors on their own. In large enough numbers, anyway.
Yeah. Marines can counter anything in large enough numbers.
That's true. But I don't know. I'm thinking he may have left those guys behind just to help defend, perhaps, in case we get another Thor drop.
Very
I'm not
possible.
sure exactly why he's leaving them behind, but we shall certainly see.
Group of Marines now going home, and these medevacs are ready to go in. There's a good number of missile turrets.
Yeah, he really needs to drop somewhere back in here, I think.
Yeah, he's picked
Or
the right
even
path.
here. There we go.
Now coming in, and every single Marine's going to come out. And with Stim, they should be able to fight this. They're going to lose a lot. No, not that those Thors. Those Thors are terrifying monsters. Although all the medevacs survive. Only just, though.
Yeah,
What
Dunn
is
caught a
this
lucky
orbital
break
command
there
doing?
with the split.
We seem to have
Orbital
a scouting
command.
missile. Maybe that orbital
I'm not
command was
sure.
trying to fight.
I think Dunn realizes that he left most of his army at home.
Yeah, he might not have realised that. And, I mean, he still has enough Marauders to kind of walk in the front and do the damage.
Yeah, he just needs to walk up there and fight. I mean, he's got the advantage. He's got this game easily. He's even got 2/2 on his infantry weapons and armor. So
Yeah,
I don't know what's going on and why Dunn has decided to take a more relaxed approach to dealing with Teeironor.
Yeah, also, the thing about Marauders is they do more damage against armoured, and what are Thors? They're armoured units. So,
Yes, indeed.
leaving behind your Marauders is just, well, that's just bad.
Well, I mean, the biggest thing is, though, Dunn went in there with, what, 12, somewhere around 12, 15 Marines, something like that, and still did a lot of damage. Took out all the Hellions, took out a Thor.
True, just, I think that could have been the win right there. If we
It
sent
could
the whole
happen
army.
if he had taken, even if he had taken one more medevac filled with Marauders. I think he would have taken that fight.
We have a floating orbital not doing anything at all at the moment. Don't know what's up with that. And am I missing a base? Oh no, of course one. Did one fall? Yeah, one fell earlier. So there's just a floating orbital not doing anything. Done rebuilding in its main for some reason. Don't think that's too necessary. And a quad 4 drop should be coming in soon. Thing is,
They're going to see this floating orbital right here. I'm not sure why he's building another command center when he's got one just sitting here doing nothing.
Only 3 Thors have dropped. One of them didn't get out in time before the medevacs got scared off. One Thor down. Another one picked up. And yeah, they're going home now. I think Dunn just needs to follow up. He still has the numbers to win. He is sitting at nearly double the supply of Teeironor. He just walk up there and take it straight away. He just needs to kind of grow some balls and do it.
Well, the problem now is that he's given Teeironor enough time that Teeironor could probably mount a pretty solid defense.
Solid, but I mean, if we look at the army splice, it's 145 to 72 in Dunn's favour. And it's over double the army supply. No matter which way you cut it, double the army supply means win. Unless, of course, it's
not necessarily. I mean,
versus
it depends on the engagement. I mean, if they have to engage uphill versus Teeironor's Thors, I mean, the Thors are gonna wipe that out pretty quickly.
Yeah, of course, Dunn could do a Doom drop around the back, as well as attacking from the front. He's got enough medevacs to lift in most of his army. Just needs to kind of make a decision rather than sitting back. Now, Teeironor's main base is completely mined out, so he is back on one base and doesn't seem to have any intention of expanding or moving his main.
Certainly doesn't appear that way.
Just to see what each of these players are planning. Dunn nearly at cap. Still doing very little.
I do have another 4 Thors locked up to these medevacs here. We do have a second expansion coming down from Teeironor.
Yeah, so I'll be going up there. Dunn probably won't cut on to that for a little while. And a move out is now coming. Those Hellions are a bit too far ahead. Backing up this, they shouldn't yet spotted.
Now they are finally joined by the rest of his army, minus these 4 medevacs with these Thors up here.
Yeah, looks like they're going
Thinking, what I'm thinking is going to happen is sort of, you know,
two-pronged
bait
assault.
and switch here. Yeah, they're going to bait out Dunn's army,
The big problem
probably
is that
closer to this ramp here, and then drop the Thors right here.
unfortunately,
The biggest thing with that,
Vikings.
yes, we do have
So
many Vikings from Dunn.
So any drop won't get far. Big engagement now. Thor's just melting under the firepower. And the Vikings have actually moved out of the defensive stance, so these Thors could get in with a drop. Although there are a couple of missile turrets there.
And not only are the missile turrets there, the Vikings are going to be fast enough that if Dunn can react quick enough, they can turn around and then... Oh, and just like that, 1 Thor gone.
Yeah, didn't get a chance to do anything. The Vikings are still advancing. So these Thors are actually going to be left unchecked for a little bit.
Yeah, the problem with that is once they get closer into these barracks, they're not only going to run into Dunn's reinforcement army, but also this tank.
Yeah, that's going to be a bit hard, but Dunn just looks to be going for the base race, which he knows he can win. I mean, SCV's trying to repair the planetary fortress, but they cannot out DPS all of that. And I mean, who wins in a base race? 3 4s or that monstrous army right there? I'm going to go with the army. And I'm expecting the GG any minute. Vikings going down, finishing it all off. I think Dunn just looking for scouts around now.
Dunn is absolutely ripping through this base, but you have to admit, these Thors aren't doing too bad themselves.
No, they are not, and they are tough enough to take quite a few shots from this siege tank. One gonna go down now, and second one should fall any moment.
Yeah, I expect this one to fall as well. We'll have to see if that Thor... He is going to be able to survive those tanks, but now he's down to a single Thor. And that single Thor isn't going to be able to DPS this base down quick enough, especially considering that we have another base right over here. Of course, Dunn does still have to find this one, so we will certainly see if that's the case.
Yeah, that he does. Teeironor kind of desperately hanging on here. Vikings now up in the sky to take out the starport that's running. And base race continues.
So it does.
SCV
As you can see, now that Teeironor has lost everything, you know, this 1 Thor down here just isn't going to cut it.
No. I mean, he hasn't even finished destroying the main, and Dunn only has to find one more base, or one more building, and it's all over. Unless these SCVs are going to be assholes. Wherever they go. Oh, they are.
Yes, they are. Aren't they?
I think Teeironor needs a pay cut. Bases are now hiding. This is gonna
Not only is the base hiding, but the actual SCV is hiding behind this tree.
Sneaky little bastard.
Oh,
That's done.
he will be found.
Oh, no!
No!
Don't worry right by him! Come on, just... Oh dear. Dunn's army coming back.
Now these guys are gonna land.
There we go.
There we go.
Thank you, Teeironor.
Game number 3 goes to MPD. That gives us a score of 2-1 in favor of MPD. We do have at least one more match coming up, if not 2.
Yeah, it's got to go into those games. Interesting game there. Dunn able to hold off Teeironor's Thor Rush. Was able to come back with his own attack. Teeironor really sticking to his boots with those Thors and did not pay off him at all. So that was really his mistake. He didn't transition when the Marauder count got high, and Dunn was able to get up his Marine Marauder Medevac Thor build, and it was just able to crush through whatever Teeironor brought out.
Yeah, you also have to keep in mind that for at least a very long time, he was in fact doing all that on one single base. You know, one basing it is not the easiest thing in the world to do. But he was holding his own for quite some time. Unfortunately, it just caught up to him, especially when Dunn has, 3-4 expansions going on at the same time simultaneously. That's a big difference to overcome. And unfortunately for Teeironor, he couldn't do it, couldn't pull it off, and eventually just the economics of Dunn took over for Teeironor and eventually cost him the game. So let's go ahead and let's get game number 4 into action.
Yeah,
loading in right now. What are we going to be playing on for game number 4? Belshir Vestige again.
No, it's not. For some reason that derped.
Let them know that we are indeed remaking. Oh, but yes, that was a fantastic. It was decent one base play there from Teeironor. Unfortunately, like I said, Dunn, the economics of Dunn just overtook him. The problem with the Thor Rush is that you can't really afford to get that early expansion, and so because he couldn't get that early expansion, he had to expand much later than he wanted to if we're going into the long con kind of game situation. And unfortunately, he just never really was able to recover from that failed Thor Rush.
No, I mean, Teeironor puts all his eggs in one basket, and when that basket breaks, it's a whole big mess.
Yes, it is, and that's something that we've seen from Teeironor. So if you can basically stop Teeironor initially, you're going to have a good time.
Yeah, you can walk away with your victory.
Indeed. Alright, let's jump back into the game here. We are set up and ready to go. Let's just make sure that the players are ready. We do have Dunn going back to Protoss play. Dunn taking it serious now. Dunn is going to go ahead and stop playing the what race will I play this time game. He's going to go to his main. He's going to go Protoss. He's going to try and end this game quick. Going to try and end this game early and take the match set win and the grand final for the TSG SC2 Interstaff tournament.
Yeah, now we'll be heading back into that game. Countdown going. And
here we are. So we will be playing this match on Whirlwind. Could potentially be the last match of the day here in this best-of-5 grand final matchup between Teeironor and Dunn.
Yeah, it's written to play with load in. This is the largest map we've played on so far. So far up to 4 people, so we'll be seeing the longer rush distances, able to do a little bit more with the space they're given. And of course, Dunn bases are so much more effective here because, I mean, if you just throw one up at the complete wrong side of the map, it's going to be one hell of a job scouting those out.
You have so many options to expand here with that Dunn-based tactic. Now, I will say that that does require Dunn to scout effectively, efficiently, and quite often to make sure that he is in the right areas at the right time for those Dunn bases. Now, we do have ourselves a very lucky situation here. We do have a cross-map spawn. So we're not going to be in a situation where we have a guy here and a guy here, which leaves this side of the map completely useless.
I call that prime area for Dunn bases.
Right. Now, the best situation we could possibly be in would be for Teeironor to start expanding in this direction, and for Dunn to start expanding in this direction.
Yeah, they'll be able to spot each other fairly quickly, although Dunn setting out the scouting probe from his position in the bottom left, and Teeironor up the top right seems to just be warning off. Dunn's scout path is actually heading towards Teeironor's base. Won't get there straight away. He'll be going around it the long way, but he will.
Yeah,
find the base soon.
he'll be scouting Teeironor in about 60 seconds.
Yeah. Dunn taking the gas, and Teeironor doing the same, but a little bit behind. What do you think we'll see out of the players in this game?
I expect, because of the massive distance between the two players, I expect both players to play a little bit more passively in the beginning of the game. I also expect a little bit more of a tech build coming out from Dunn. I think that Riorus will continue his one base strategy for some reason.
Will I?
Not. I mean, Teeironor to continue his one base strategy. Why, I don't know. It's not great when you have a long distance situation like this. I feel that Dunn is going to expand probably 3 times before they meet in combat if Dunn is the initiator.
Yeah, I don't believe that will be that way. Teeironor has been fairly aggressive in these games so far. So I think him sitting back and waiting for Dunn to get to 3 bases, that won't happen. And if Dunn tries to be that greedy, Teeironor could be able to punish him for it.
Well, at that same point in time, though, the amount of time it's going to take for Teeironor to get an army to Dunn's base, Dunn should have doubled his army.
That is true. Dunn putting down a proxy pylon. Teeironor's 4th. So some sneaky warp-ins could be coming. Another proxy pylon going down. Not in like the most prime locations. If Dunn really wanted to put down one that would be scary, it would be going in the 3rd, or down the ramp at the 2nd, or maybe even right at the outskirts of the natural expansion. Because
yeah, I'd like to actually see one right. I'd actually like to see one right here, and then perhaps a probe, or not a probe, but a what do they call those damn things? An observer to be sitting just a little bit above that, and then Dunn could actually warp in a couple of units in this little, it would create this little sliver of area that Dunn could use to warp people inside of Teeironor's main.
Yeah, I do believe pylons just have enough reach to cover that gap. Meanwhile, in the bases, Teeironor's building a ghost academy, so more nukes on the way. They didn't really help out last time. They could do this time. Dunn going for proxy Stargate. Now at the top. I want to see oracles. I miss oracles. I haven't seen that many oracles lately, and they can do some pretty heavy damage. Teeironor's not going for the Thors, they won't get picked off amazingly quickly. Marines can still do massive amounts of damage to an oracle.
Both of them right now sitting on a single base each. I would expect Dunn to go ahead and expand fairly soon. I could be wrong, though. He could be trying to go for a really, really quick oracle and get some oracle harassment going on, or he could try to do a good number of Void Rays as well, and then try and go in that way. Would like to point out, however, that we do in fact have a Ghost Academy up for Teeironor, as well as some lag coming out from Necroxis.
Damn Necroxis. Ruined everything.
Damn it, Necroxis.
Oh, and he's actually dropped from the game.
Good guy Necroxis is lagging, leaves. And there we go, there's the expansion from Dunn there.
Getting down, I'd call that a Dunn base. I'd call that the 5th base, so it's just about a Dunn base, although I mean, there's much more hidden Dunn bases. For instance, I'd quite like to see one here, like at this point. So if it goes down here,
yeah.
it's not one of the main other bases, but it's still in that direction. It's pretty unlikely to get scouted.
Well, the other thing is that you have to take a look at the fact that Teeironor has not scouted Dunn. Teeironor does not know where Dunn is. So if he leaves, I mean, right now, if Dunn could expand here, or even, you know, right in here, and if that's the first place that Teeironor scouts, he's going to think that's where Dunn is.
True.
But that's not where Dunn is.
Could completely throw him off.
Exactly.
He might even just want to put down a couple of pylons at the entrance. If Teeironor doesn't go all the way into the base, then, I mean, it could just be some pretty cheap pylons that will completely throw off Teeironor's game.
Right.
I mean, at the moment, Teeironor doesn't know what's going on outside his front door.
And not only that, but
No
once
information.
Teeironor does commit to that fight, if Teeironor believes that Dunn is there, if he commits to that fight, that pylon is going to see his army. So Dunn's going to know the composition of his opponent's army, and he's going to be able to very quickly, hopefully, very quickly counter that build, counter that composition.
Yeah, although I don't know if Dunn's thinking that far ahead. He seems to be just focusing on his own thing, not trying to play all the mind games. Teeironor finally sending out a Marine Scout. And
It is going right for that exact area that I was just talking about.
Yep. No time for the mind games now, though. So that Marine will scout the main base fairly shortly. Just gonna wait for it to
In
run around a bit.
about 90 seconds or so, give or take. Yeah, probably about 2 minutes. And here we go, up here at the top, we do have what I said was one of the possibilities that was coming.
Void Rays.
Oh, but he doesn't take out the Ghost Academy.
He might do
It
it.
is
Might burn
burning,
down.
though. Yeah,
No,
it is burning.
SCB
Nope, there they
for a
come.
bear. Of course, there is enough Void Rays to kind of just turn around and finish it off now.
Yeah, but I think Dunn is a bit too passive for that. He's not that aggressive.
Yeah.
Me, on the other hand, I feel like that is my downfall. I am far too aggressive. I would have been back in there 4 or 5 times by now and have no Void Rays left.
Yeah, got to find the right mix, really. Everything's about balance.
Also interesting to note that whenever Teeironor went to go defend that, I think he clicked on his army button, you know, the one that comes up when it displays your entire army, because
Yeah.
this scout actually got pulled away from scouting.
Yeah, so I'm just going to read the layer. I mean, he's only just heading over to Dunn's base now. Just gotta wait. Nightghost Academy is now back up on full health, and more Void Rays are on the way, and if they go in this time, that Ghost Academy will fall. Be quite a job repelling the whole thing.
Yeah, also, we do have a
Banshee.
Banshee coming out.
Taking out some zealots of this proxy pylon. Not too bad, but I mean, Dunn now knows about the Banshee. I think it would have been better for Teeironor just to kind of float on by and get into the base unseen. Marine Scout now turning around. Teeironor has seen enough to know where Dunn is.
Yeah, he's seen that he's not in the upper left or bottom right corner, and that, of course, leaves only the bottom left corner.
That it does. 3 zealots now sitting in Teeironor's expansion. Speaking of expansions, Teeironor has none of them. Teeironor is sitting back on just his main. and he is going to be starved fairly quickly, although Dunn is still only sitting on 2 bases, and I would expect him to set up another one pretty soon. He also needs more production. He only has 3 warp gates and a gateway. Still hasn't changed that gateway into a warp gate. And he's banking up a lot of minerals, good number of gas. He needs to start spending.
Yeah, I'm not sure exactly what Dunn's deal is here. He does seem to be on that Void Ray harassment, but he's investing a lot into it, and so far it hasn't really paid off very much. He did manage to get 2 supply depots, but of course it will stop unit production for Teeironor, at least shortly.
Yeah, but Teeironor does have quite a large army, and I mean, it's only going up against 4 Void Rays, Mothership Cores, 6 Stalkers, and 4 Zealots, and
we do have a move out from Teeironor, and I must say that if this engagement was to happen right now, I'm going to have to give the game to Teeironor.
Yeah, and Teeironor does have the aggressive tendencies to just go straight on in. Dunn does not have enough warp gates. He is putting down a fleet beacon, oddly enough, so he's trying to get up to the high tech before it arrives. I just don't think he does not have the time. This army is right on the front door. Teeironor's coming and knocking. And this could be GG right here.
I don't know. Dunn does have the capabilities to warp in more units. He's got... I don't know about that. He sent those Zealots in, and they didn't get anything done. And, of course, that's it. His army is wiped out. And he's only got 1, 2, 3, 4 gateways. So that's only going to be 4 units at a time. It's not going to be enough. That's going to be GG.
Yeah, relying
and
on...
I truly feel... I truly feel that this is going to be the end of the game here, and Teeironor is going to sweep this.
Heading into a game 5.
Yeah, we will be. In fact, looks like we are going to be seeing a game number 5. Dunn's going to take these 4 Void Rays and see if he can get anything done up here. He might be able to do a little bit, but even just that little group of Marines right there is going to cause him a little bit of problems, especially if they focus fire that last one that's coming out over there. And of course, you've also got these missile turrets. They're going to do the work as well, and that's going to be it for Dunn.
He's attempting a base race, but as soon as these falls, he'll realize it's over. And we'll go on to the 5th and final game.
However, if you look up here, we do have a High Templar and some Zealots, as well as another Void Ray coming out. Unfortunately for Dunn, his other base, his expansion, is about to be discovered by these 2 Banshees.
Yeah, does Dunn think he can base race? Teeironor doesn't think so. And... yeah, Dunn... yeah, he could if he was very lucky. But, I mean, the results are going down now. High Templar's only just showing up. Doesn't even have Storm, so he's going to be absolutely useless. The expansion is going down. The Pylon's been left alone, so Dunn won't be forced out of the game anytime soon. I think Dunn just needs to realise when it's over, it's
this is over?
Yeah! There we go.
He did get a carrier out, though.
Oh, a single carrier. Carrier all in. Oh dear. When a carrier is the only thing you have, I wouldn't really call it an all-in, I call it a carrier. And a loss.
Certainly a loss, if nothing else.
Here we go. You can probably take out these missile turrets. Eventually.
Not really.
He's running away
from
now.
He has no interceptors left, and so he's got to rebuild the interceptors.
Dunn, why must you torture us like this? Going in for the front now?
No, he's actually going to go ahead and take this. Probably leave that carrier alone for the most part and just go take out those last remaining buildings.
Yeah. Fun fact, the strategy never worked in any other game. Strategy Marine Marauder. Usually should work. Marine Marauder Manchi is pretty strong. If you also get into Medivacs. And also Stim. Teeironor, no Stim. Why no Stim? I'll complain about this till the end of time.
Yeah, and this is the thing, when you leave these pylons like this just sitting there, you come to the realization that you have to walk all the way back over there just to take out that pylon.
Yeah. I know building a new base, it shouldn't complete in time. But it'll be over as soon as the army comes in. Probe now dead. Come on. That carrier didn't even die. And that's the game.
Indeed it is. We will be going to a Game 5 in this best of 5 series between Teeironor and Dunn. This is the TSG SC2 Interstaff Tournament Grand Finals. And we did, in fact, go to all 5 games. It is 6 o'clock in the afternoon over here in the central United States of America. And, oh my god, we started 2 hours ago.
Yeah, it's now midnight here in the British Isles, so you might be tired, but it's getting late for here as well. How long have you been up for now?
I've been up since 2 o'clock yesterday morning.
God, I thought my sleep schedule was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, Dunn demanding silly maps. I will not allow it.
All I can really say in this particular moment in time is that it's fine, I guess, that we're going to a Game 5, but these games have been lasting 10 to 20 minutes longer than they really should.
Yeah, I mean, if we could just see the players kind of pushing it on in, finishing off the games when they have the opportunity, they could read the game a little bit better, and we wouldn't be sitting through, you know, the dull bits.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Fortunately for us, this is the last game, regardless of what happens and what the outcome is. We will determine a winner in this particular matchup right now. In this final game, the 5th game, the 5th inning. It's been a rough 2 hours so far. Perhaps we will see not only the final game, but the fastest game in this match.
Maybe there'll be a rush that works.
Perhaps there will be. I should go give each player a pep talk and just tell them both to rush.
Yeah. Dunn, you cannon rush, Teeironor, you Thor rush. See who wins.
Yeah, pretty much.
That'd be an interesting thing to see, actually. Although maybe not for a grand
I
final.
swear to the viewers out there that I am not disinterested in this matchup at all. I just simply am very tired.
He's bored and grumpy. You'll know it to be true.
I'm just grumpy. I'm just tired and grumpy, not bored.
Still, we're now in the game. Setting up.
And for those wondering, yes, there will be a Azeroth lore tour tomorrow morning.
Just waiting on the players to ready up, then we'll be heading straight into the game. Okay, Dunn is prepared, Teeironor is prepared. Countdown is starting now.
And here we go, ladies and gentlemen. This is the 5th and final game of this best of 5 series. Dunn versus Teeironor on Newkirk Precinct. Very interesting map. Riorus.
I do like this map. This
It's
is
very symmetric.
Yeah.
It also looks like Diablo, and then like the number 3 down there in the bottom, in the middle.
No, I don't see that.
You don't see it?
No.
Does anyone viewing right now? If you look in the middle, in the middle of this map, go down just a little bit. It looks like kind of like Diablo, and then like the Diablo 3s.
I think you're going crazy. I think you need to get some sleep. But before you do that, we have the final game with Dunn as the orange Protoss on the bottom right. And Teeironor still pretending to be the Dominion. Red Terran, bottom left. Let's get to it.
Indeed. Of course, now that we've loaded the map and I can actually look at what the hell is in the middle, it apparently is a Terran shield.
Oh, is that what you were talking about?
Yes.
Oh, I thought you meant like the entire map as a whole. So I was trying to make the whole map look like Diablo's face, and I was quite confused.
No, you're an idiot. I said in the middle and then look slightly down. Like, what the hell?
In the middle, look slightly down. I thought you like had like the second hole, and you were trying to make that like Diablo's nose or something.
Riorus, you aren't alpha enough for the second hole.
Must you make everything that juvenile?
Yeah, absolutely. Are you kidding me?
We're like wearing shirts and stuff. I thought we'd be classy for once. I mean, I have a tie with ponies on it. It's good times.
The only tie that you need, good buddy, is a red silk tie, the best tie in the world.
What about black tie?
No.
You need a black tie. They call it black tie events for a reason.
You need a silk red tie. Not only does it extrude just extreme classiness, women, when they see a man wearing red, they see power, they see confidence, they see a future. And then they sleep with you. That's how the world works. I'm telling you right now, that's the only secret you need to know.
You know what you're saying about rushes? Cannon rush.
We do, in fact, appear to have a little bit of a cannon rush going on, but unfortunately for Dunn, he's only going to be able to get one cannon down, unless he sends in another probe, but he's not going to be able to because Teeironor has already blocked off his entrance.
And I mean, a couple more SCVs will take down that cannon before it completes. At this rate, you should get a few shots off.
But you've also got the pylon here as well, and it's going to go down.
Yeah,
we'll have to see, once this cannon gets up, we'll have to see if it's able to take out these two SCVs quick enough.
That's one down.
It's going to take this one down, and it's going to take that one down. Now, Teeironor's in a little bit of trouble.
Yeah, did not pull the SCVs in time. Was a bit too confident in their abilities, and he's in trouble.
And he's going to be losing a lot of SCVs. Now, he's not out of the game yet, but the problem is he's got a couple of options. He can either very loosely mine these far right mineral fields and then do what he's doing now, which is basically, see, Teeironor actually doing a really smart idea here. He's going down to his expansion and mining from there and bringing them back up. Now,
what I wouldn't call so smart is using that money and, you know, not lifting up the base. You know, it's something Terran can do. Lift up your buildings, move them down, and you wouldn't have to be long distance mining. You don't need to stay at the base.
Not necessarily. Now, I don't necessarily agree with this. Yes, okay. Dunn did invest some money into that cannon and that pylon, but he didn't invest nearly enough money for you to send out a rush with 6 Marines and an SCV and expect to do anything. What you should have been doing was using those 6 Marines and that SCV to come down here and get rid of those and then continue building your army, because you know that you are now ahead of Dunn. Yeah, and this is going to put you even further behind. There he goes. Now he's backing off a little bit. And he's also sending a few reinforcements there to back him up. I still don't think it's going to be enough, though. I just don't know if it's going to be enough.
command center now been moved down to the low ground. And I think what Teeironor was trying to do was contain Dunn, but because of the wall off on the low ground, means that Dunn has 2 bases that he can work with, and Teeironor still only has 1.
He is, however, going to build a bunker. So basically what we're going to do is we're going to get a containment. However, this isn't exactly the smartest maneuver because Dunn already has 2 bases. That means all he has to do is gas up all 4 of his gases that he has available to him, and then get a couple of void rays, and you're screwed because, number 1, you can't really build here anymore, so you're relegated to 1 base at the moment, and you're already really, really far behind. Now you're pumping out extra Marines to fight in a containment war, and you're too far behind. So we'll have to definitely see if Dunn sees what's happening and takes that route or not.
Yeah, we'll see. Warp gate is now on the way. 4 gateways are already up, so Dunn can produce a fairly large army. He's got his mining going quite quickly, got more mining than Teeironor, both gases saturated, and I mean Dunn can sit back and build up an army and he will be fairly happy in this position.
Yeah, the other thing to note is that Dunn cannot see those bunkers out there.
No, he cannot. He cannot see anything. Although it will only take 1 zealot walking down the ramp to see him. Now, what Teeironor could be doing is heading towards tanks, although at the moment he's just mining minerals, just getting out more marines, and he is producing this all off a single barracks. And he can't do that for long. I mean, Dunn now has warp gate. Dunn has a pylon still in Teeironor's main, so a warp in of zealots coming in from behind could end this game straight away.
And here we go. 4 zealots are now marching out to their deaths.
Yep, but now they know about the contain. And Dunn just has to remember that he has a pylon right by Teeironor's base, and he can probably take out that barracks without too much trouble.
Oh yeah, that's the other thing. He's got this right here, and I'm sure he's not. I don't know. I don't want to say he doesn't realize it's there, but he's probably too focused on the fact that he's being contained. He may be stressing out a little bit about that. Yeah. All he's got to do is warp in 3 warps, 3 group of warps right here, and that's more than enough to take out all of this. And then all he's got to worry about is that containment of bunkers right there.
Yeah, and he can just sit back and build up an army, and, well, I mean, what can Teeironor do with nothing? You can't do anything with nothing. That's why they call it nothing. I'm not making much sense, am I? Anyway, Dunn just has to remember, I mean, eventually he'll look over there and realises why. Oh, nope, he's done it already. 4 zealots now warping in. Is he going to send them in straight away? Or is he going to wait? Looks to be waiting.
Yeah, Teeironor does not realize that he has warped anything in over there. Now he does.
Now he does.
But,
bit of a mistake.
Beforehand, he did not realize.
Yeah, and I mean, Teeironor doesn't quite have enough to fend off the cannon and take out this pylon yet. But it won't be long.
The other thing is, Dunn is now just sitting here with these 4 zealots, when he should be going and attacking right now.
I know what he's waiting for. He's putting up the Dark Shrine. And he'll plan to go with
he wants to put in DTs.
Thing is, though, does he have the time to do that? There are more Marines coming out all the time, and
that would actually be a very poetic loss in the final. Teeronor's very first game in this tournament, he lost to DTs. It would be very poetic if his last game in this tournament was also a loss to DTs.
Barracks lifting up to escape the zealots that tried to attack. And this should delay Teeironor long enough for those DTs to come down. Stalkers are also coming in. Yeah, this is looking like the end for Teeironor. He can keep trying.
Unfortunately, Teeironor is.
Dark Shrine finishing up in just 20 seconds. That contain is pretty scary, but I mean, when you can get your army right behind them. Teeironor is now on the run. That Dark Shrine might not even be needed.
Very well may not be needed.
Yeah. SCB is going for the offensive, apparently. Going over to Dunn's main. And now we're just waiting for the killing blow to be dealt. The bunkers have been evacuated. The DTs are now attacking the front. Marines trying to fight, but they have no detection at all. It's going to get slowly picked off. And yeah, the DTs. They've played their part. They've broken the front. First and last loss, yep. The poetic victory is here. DTs.
Indeed it is. Oh, now he's switching. Now he's making himself an Archon.
It's not poetic anymore. He's ruined it.
I'm still going with it was poetic.
You say so. Teeironor is actually still trying to recover. He's up the top. He has a lot of money. But he only has a single SCV who's hiding behind some supply depots. And Dunn just needs to go on marching and he will end this game.
And that is exactly what Dunn is doing right now.
Is Teeironor ready? Oh, no. Bit of lag from Teeironor.
And just like that, no GG or anything.
Oh, dear.
Bad manners coming out from Teeironor, but that is it, ladies and gentlemen. Dunn has won the Smoking Gamer Starcraft 2 Interstaff Tournament and this best of 5 series.
Yeah, that puts Dunn at the number 1
finals.
spot. So yeah, the top 4 players in this tournament go to Dunn as number 1, Teeironor number 2. I take the number 3 spot, with Snapplemonkey at 4. And then we have the lowly peasants, who I won't mention. Yeah, that is it from us here at the Smoking Gamer. I think that's it.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, it has been a long but fun night here to cast this grand final for you guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I hope you enjoyed this tournament. Hope you enjoyed the series. At some point, we may have to come back and do something again. So, we don't know what that'll be exactly. But yeah.
Yeah, we hope you've enjoyed the tournament, and see you next time.
Hold on. We have from
what
Teeironor.
are you doing?
We have from Teeironor. It says, you are a fucking asshole. You may have won the tournament, but I refuse to acknowledge that you beat me in any real way. Teeironor is angry right now with Dunn, apparently. Too much cheese, perhaps.
Yeah, the cannon rush. Oh, that put him so far behind.
Yes, indeed. I would just like to point out that if you quit the Smoking Gamer because you lost the StarCraft 2 tournament, I will be very disappointed in you, Teeironor. But it was good games all around. Long games at times, but good. And it certainly, at the very least, was not a boring grand final. And that's really all you can hope for in some of these matchups. So, with that said, ladies and gentlemen, good night, Godspeed. We'll be back at some point in the near future, I'm sure, for another tournament of some kind. And hopefully I won't have to cast the grand finals. Good night, and goodbye.
Goodbye.